Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And let me get connect with our other network, and then we ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session, and keep relax your body, keep relax your mind, and bring attention to this bell sound and follow the sound, please. And while you focusing to the sound, so mentally, you can relax your body and mind with breathing and do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to understand how this practice will help for us to develop our inner tranquility state, and how it will help us to develop our spiritual life, and out of that spiritual development, how we can use it for our day-to-day life and bring our this conventional success. Because this both go together. We can't separate. Even though it is not the same, the way we maintain and behave in this conventional world affect for our spiritual development. So then whatever the spiritual teachings that you gain should apply to your bodily, verbally, mentally action. So when it comes to spiritual life, so one of the important thing is bringing the change to ourselves is the very purpose. One of purpose. Bringing the change. So that change always should be profitable. And that change always should be wholesome. That change always should go upward. That change always should bring the happiness, satisfaction, and comfort to you and other people. So then out of any practice, if you can't bring the change, what's the point you practicing that? So then the very basic principle when it comes to meditation and any other spiritual practice related to the tranquility and insight meditation, there are two principles that you have to remember. And one is beginning point. So somehow you have to start. As example, you think for meditation. Then start yourself. It's not just by thinking. Maybe there is a book you want to read. Start to read. There is something you want to do and you keep thinking, start. So that is the first principle. And then the second principle, continue. Because just the starting itself not going to bring the final result. Start and continue. So if you follow that two rules, so whatever, even in the conventional level, or then even in the eternal level, you can gain success. So especially when it comes to the vipassana level, this and the meditation, those two principles very necessary. Starting and continue. And when it comes to our day-to-day life, there is a very famous word we always hear, controlling. Control yourself. So this controlling comes when the hindrance arise. When the negativity arises. So in the tranquility meditation, there are two ways you can practice tranquility mind. So one is focusing your mind to one thing. And there is no something kind of like a controlling. When it comes to focus, you always have to have the very open mind and look into it. Not hold it to something, but look into your primary mental object. And being in the one mental object is one way that you develop your tranquility mind. And another way, look it from different angles and changing. As example, so when we observe inhalation, exhalation, so that is a tranquility meditation in a certain way. And sometimes just imagine you focus to the sensation. Maybe the sensation not going to be in one place. So you focus to one place and then when it disappears, there is another place you feel pain or sensation. So then you go to that place. So like that, changing place and moving place to place also is one kind of meditation. But these both need to come out of your conscious decision. And when that conscious decision comes, you should not hold it to something, or you should not have any kind of idea, kind of like a controlling. So you have to more open and see what this is. So in that way, rather than holding, grasping, clinging, you are releasing and opening. So that is a very important thing you have to remember in day-to-day life. That's tranquility meditation. And then when it go into, when you develop that quality little by little, so by the time you can slowly understand the very nature of vipassana mind. So there are very famous that 5 methods that the Buddha mentioned when something arises in us, especially when the hindrance arise, greed, hatred, delusion, anger, jealousy, frustration, fear, anxiety, depression, when this all arise, there are 5 methods that you can deal with that. So that itself saying you are not limited to one thing. So whatever, this is the important thing, when it comes to Vipassana level, it is very important for you to remember when you try to do some work, whatever the work that go with the right result, you have to do that. So you should not limit it to only one method. So that openness, even for the teachings, even for the practice, that openness is a very important when you practice the Vipassana. So that's why when it comes to this hindrance, if you see something in your mind, and most of the time, right away, it comes to control yourself, control your mind, control your body. So from this idea came mostly from the people start to use these machines. So then when they build up these machines, they want to kind of like maintain it the way they want. So that's where they bring this control gear, control button. And it's kind of like you are capable to maintain it the way you want, and you are capable to get whatever get that done things out of the machines. So you can't use the same principle to the mind. And you can't use it to the same method to other people, because other people are not machines. So you can't control somebody and get what you want out of that person. But in the Western world, and now all over the world, this control idea came, and they think that you can control and then you can get something out of that doing certain way and doing certain thing, and you can gain what you want. But when it comes to the Vipassana level, what the Buddha mentioned, when situation comes, especially when something arises in your mind, any negativity, unwholesome action, any hindrance, if there is a kind of like a thought arise that which you don't want to maintain, what the Buddha said. So the very first method you have to use, it's not exactly you have to use the first this, second this, like that, but there are 5 methods. So one of it, out of these 5, you have to right away start to look into the opposite side of that thought. So you have to use the opposite side of the thought as the antidote to this negativity. As example, ill will. So the opposite side of the ill will is loving kindness, compassion. So rather than holding the ill will, rather than holding the anger, what you need to do, you have to right away get into the loving kindness. So when the anger arises, right away, you have to think about the compassion regarding that person or that thing. So maybe right away not going to work it. But again and again, if you try to do it, what will happen by the time it's going to happen? So the first one is use the opposite side as the antidote to whatever the thought arises. It's kind of like a channeling. When something happens, how you can change the channel. Like when you're driving, when kind of like how to change the line. So like that, you change the direction. You change the path of the current that keep coming from inside you rather than hold it to that. So if you try to control it, what will happen sometimes? It blow out. You can't keep it like that. So the very first thing then, right away, especially that then when it comes to these little thoughts, ideas, the whatever the emotions you experience, and right away use the opposite side. Then it become a profitable skill to you. And the second one, the moral shame and moral debt. So it's kind of like a self-respect. And the other thing is that you can see when some situations arise in you, rather than holding it to it, you can see how other people deal with it. If you do this, how other people going to accept it, and how it going to affect for your life. So like that, you look around and it open your mind rather than closing. And other thing is, it brings some kind of validation and the clarity to yourself to deal with the outside world, and knowingly you are a part of the world. So that is very important to understand when it comes to this conventional world. This, even yourself, sometimes you are part of the family, part of the village, part of the society, part of the culture, part of the tradition. And in a very conventional level, as a family, we have to accept it. So then sometimes you have to think, how the family going to accept that your action? How kind of effect going to happen to you and for them? So like that, you look around. So in that way, that current going to minimize. So the third one is changing the attention. It's completely, so the first one is use the opposite side. This third method is changing the attention to samya. So as example, if you look at the cloud and then you completely direct it to look at the river. So it's a two different ways. Maybe there is something disturbing to you, and then you right away, rather than keep going towards it, so rather than hold it to it, or rather than try to resist that perception, you change the direction, you change the attention. Or maybe somebody have a kind of like a very disturbing conversation, and then maybe you are not going to stay there, you just go for a walk. Or maybe you start to do some work. So it is applicable in day-to-day life. Rather than controlling. Sometimes when there is anger, disappointment, unhappy, fear arise, what we does, rather than changing the attention, we hold it to that and we try to control it, and current keep coming. And then certain level, we lose the power. So then remember that whatever the current keep coming behind you, inside you, it is very old. And it's a part of the nature. Then just imagine this nature unlimited. It is so powerful. So your anger, your hatred, jealousy, ignorance, lust. So those are kind of like a tornadoes. It's kind of like a flood. It's kind of like a tsunami. So when it arises, when the beginning point, it is so weak. So don't hold it to that. Right away when you see that, always you have a conscious power to take a conscious decision, like in day-to-day life. When you're going to blame to somebody, when you are not happy with someone, it's not that incident make you unhappy. No, during the day, inside your mind, yourself, you had the kind of like a conversation. You always used to keep thinking about it during the day. And then when the conversation happens, then suddenly you come with that. So during the day, what you thought start to come out of your words. So then, why you keep thinking about it like that? Because you know it trigger your anger, hatred, jealousy, ignorance. So then maybe when there is unhappiness arise in you, when there is anger arise in you, when you have a kind of like a frustration, when there is a fear arise in you regarding something, maybe it's going to happen tomorrow. So then maybe it's about another person, not live with you, live far away from you. So you have power in this very moment to change the mind, change the direction. Why you keep thinking about that person? So what are the benefits you gain out of it? There's no any benefit. Then because of you thinking about that person bad, that doesn't mean that person going to get changed. No. So you are the one who increasing the anger, hatred, jealousy. So then whenever there's some kind of thought arise about negative thoughts arise about another person or another thing, right away change it. Right away change, and you start to keep thinking about something else. So that make you more strong person inside to deal with your own thoughts. So there is here that there is this psychological experiment has done. It's very famous. It's called this marshmallow test. And little children put it to a room, and one by one, and told, you wait few minutes or 1 hour. When I come back, if you didn't eat this, I give you 2. But if you eat this, you're going to have only this. So then what happened? They go out of the room, this little child, and looking at this marshmallow. And there are some children right away took it and eat. But there are some children, they hold, they don't eat it. But this is the key point. Why it is important for this lesson and how it is applicable. So this is, there are some children, they just didn't keep looking at the marshmallow. What they did, to get out of this desire, to cut this desire to eat, they divert the attention to something else. Maybe they go under the table, or maybe they start to look something else, or maybe they start to sing a song. So they divert the attention. Otherwise, if you keep looking at that marshmallow, then the whole world going to become like a marshmallow. Why? Because what you think, you become. So then in day-to-day life, when you think about someone else bad, by the time what happens? That not only that person, So the whole world is kind of like a becoming bad. And when you start to think about negativity regarding another person, what will happen? Then whole world going to become kind of like a very negative, dark place for you. So then bring the light to yourself. When there is a negative thought in your mind, right away change it and bring some kind of good thoughts and change the attention to something. And just know yourself thinking about somebody. It's not going to work for that person and it affect for you. So then you start to think about something good. So like that, change the direction, divert it. So there is no control. And the fourth one, you directly look into the situation, problem, anger. You directly look into the anger. Greed, you directly look into that. You don't divert. You don't change the channel. You don't look the opposite side. You don't look how other people maintain it to accept it. You directly. So that is where this when you have the clarity in you, when there is anger arise, you look into you. Greed arise, you look into you. Unhappiness arise, you look into that unhappiness and see what it is. When you start to look like that, what happened? You start to see this unknown, unseen underneath some other mental formations. So maybe it looked like the anger from the beginning. Maybe you feel kind of like you are angry about something or somebody. But if you look very carefully, it's not the anger. There's deeper desire in you regarding something, and you can't reach to that. You can't get it. You can't fulfill that what you dream or think or what you like. So because of that, what happens? This anger covered it up, and now it looks like you are angry. But really, it is not the anger. Or maybe the greediness. So sometimes it looks like it is the greed. But deeper, maybe underneath that greed, there is something. Hatred. So the ignorance the same. So like that, the jealousy the same. Maybe look like it is jealousy. But if you keep looking, go deeper into it, and maybe you see it is not the jealousy, it is the anger. So like that, sometimes what you see on the surface level, not underneath that. So how it going to affect for you then? Because it will help you to get out of this deeper roots of this cankers or the mental formation. And the one of the best result that you can gain out of it, when other people get angry, mad, disappointed, what happens? Because most of time people don't say what they want. They don't show what they want. They don't ask by words, even in a family. Children, parents, husband, wife, brothers, sisters, neighbors, friends, they don't ask sometimes. One of the biggest mistakes that we have, when we think about something, we think that other people can know that, or other people know what you think. No, it's not like that. Only the Buddhas maybe know what we think. Otherwise, you have to communicate. But the thing is, people don't have that skill that much. People try to show it in a certain different ways, especially when it comes to the emotions and needs. They don't show it directly. They don't ask it directly. So then what happens when somebody gets angry? And then you know it is not the anger. Maybe behind that, some needs. When that needs not happens, when the person can't get that, what happens? It comes like anger. But really that person is not angry. And maybe it's kind of like a greed. But if you look very carefully, behind that greed, there is some kind of anger, some kind of lust, some kind of ignorance. So like that, you are capable to understand the other person. So that is very important for all of us, because we live with people. We need to know each other. How much you know about the other person. It's very easy for you to build up the very comfortable environment around you. But more than the human, now what happens? This machine's technology can understand people and their emotions. And people become more comfortable with these things. And sometimes we can't have the clear communication with each other. Maybe people don't listen to each other. Husband or the wife or the children, parents, brothers, sisters, or even in the spiritual world, maybe the monk or the father or the pastor or the rabbi or the guru, teacher, maybe they don't listen to the followers sometimes. They think, oh, whatever, I prepare my talk or whatever I say, oh, you have to listen to that. Because of that, what happened now, people, especially, this new generation becomes so comfortable with the machines, and that is one reason this chat GPT and artificial intelligence and Alexa and the Siri. So this kind of things, because they can have a better communication with the machines. And so then they go with that little by little. Whatever comfortable, people go with that. So then it is your responsibility. When you develop this spiritual path, what happened? Look, you become very clear with this human connection. So that is going to become the greater contribution to entire humanity. It is just not only for your practice. Because this is a skill, that's a mental skill, profitable skill that you develop yourself. So in that way, you develop your wisdom to know. And even though this surface level, there is something the underneath, you can go in, you can develop the power to investigate. You go to the deeper source and deeper, the epicenter of these thoughts, and you recognize that. And the fifth one, if this anything doesn't work, what happened? When the unwholesome state arises in you, then you hold it within yourself without allowing it to go out as a bodily, verbally, mentally action. So that is the fifth one. So that is one way. And even see that it is not just the controlling that, the whatever arises in there. You don't react with your bodily, verbally, mentally actions. So those are the 5 methods that you can use when the hindrance arises, when the negativity arises, unwholesome thought arise, to get out of that, rather than clinging to it, hold it to it, controlling it, grasping. So in that way, you are capable to develop more larger, clear, strong mind inside you. So the first one is using the opposite side of the thoughts as antidote. And the second one, use the moral shame or the hold it to the self-respect and look around others and see how the wise people accept it. And the third one is divert your attention to different thing. And the fourth one, without using the opposite side or without divert it to different attention, you go, so if there is anger, hatred, jealousy, ignorance, fear, you go into the very core level of it and look what this is. And the fifth level is in case if this anything doesn't work, you hold it to yourself and don't allow your bodily, verbally, mentally action, regenerate, go behind that, whatever that negativity. So those are the 5 methods that you can use. And now you can see when something happened, there's not one thing, that one method you use. You use many methods and whatever work and you go with it. That is what called the method of vipassana. You don't hold it to any pattern or the method or the behavior or the teachings or the mental view. So whatever work, you are so flexible. You develop very adaptive mind to go with the very nearest way and get the best out of the moment, to make it more profitable and wholesome for you and for others. So once you have that, and if you start this method and keep continue, so by the time you will see how the change come to you. So this all power of awareness, and you have to work within yourself, inside your life. There's nothing to do with the outside. So that is, if you work in day-to-day life and always see the condition of the mind and shift it and change it and divert it, redirect it. So in that way, so every day, all the time, 24/7, it's kind of like you practice vipassana. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and naked straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So your right palm on your left and naked straight in one line. So bring attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Swapatviva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. So when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Also, by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Imaya dhamma anudhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi. Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribunjissami. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.